You are looking at the 2022 Polestar 2 Long Range. And it's called Long Range because this is a battery electric vehicle. And its job is to help Volvo's new performance division, Polestar, take on the Tesla Model 3. Can it accomplish that? That's what we're going to find out. Before we go any further, let me try and explain to you what Polestar is. And I don't really know. I'm also convinced that Polestar doesn't really know. Now, there was a time when it was just the performance wing of Volvo. So, BMW has M, Mercedes has AMG, Audi has RS, Cadillac has V, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And Volvo said, hey, we want a part of that game. Then they split Polestar off into its own division, and they came out with the Polestar 1, which was this big, beautiful, incredibly handsome coupe, 600 horsepower hybrid. We all went, ooh, Polestar rules. And then they came out with this. This is just a car. It's not necessarily a performance car, especially with only one motor like this one here has. It's not that luxurious. So when this came out, it only had one competitor. That was the Tesla Model 3. Since then, a whole bunch of other EVs are coming onto the market. You've got the BMW i4, and then two new South Korean. You've got the Hyundai Ioniq 5 and the Kia EV6. As far as the design goes, the Polestar 2 is in a weird spot. I think it's an odd looking vehicle, but it has some really cool details. A couple things to point out. It's got a grille. It's an electric vehicle with a grille. It doesn't need a grille. It's superfluous. It's just there for design reasons. We've still got the Thor's hammer, the daytime running light. I think the front is kind of the worst looking part of the car, but as you come down the side, you really start to see some masterful things at work here. This scallop in the hood is so good. It might be a little hard to see in two dimensions, but it's such nice, clean line work, and that's true all the way down the car. Even the mirror kind of has a cool shape to it, almost frameless. I don't know why that sticker's there, it just is. You come down the car and it's just clean, clean, clean. You notice it does have door handles. A lot of EVs are getting rid of door handles. One cool feature here on the C-pillar, you see this odd shape here. Well, guess what? That shape is repeated right back here. So it kind of ties the car together a little bit. And you come out back and you say, oh yeah, it kind of looks like a Volvo that's been tweaked. And again, when you have something as beautiful as Volvo's current lineup and you start to mess with it, you're almost guaranteed it's gonna look second best. We've joked for a long time that the Tesla Model 3 interior, or lack thereof, is so sparse, it's Scandinavian. Well, now finally I'm in a Scandinavian EV, pretty sparse interior, still worlds better than any Tesla, which isn't that much of an accomplishment. But here we are, and it's quite nice. They've got a lot of different materials. A lot of them are just different rubbers and plastics, but they look very cool. Like this right here, it looks like fabric. It's not, it's some kind of rubber, but it looks really cool. This looks nice. This Cubert board looking thing here, it looks cool. The seats are actually this nice pattern fabric, so I like the cabin for the most part. It's a little stark, a little maybe too dark in here, but for the most part it's okay. They did cheap out though in a weird spot. I can slide the seat backwards and forwards with an electric control, but if I want to tilt the seat back itself, I have to reach behind awkwardly, and if you're wearing a thick watch, your hand won't fit, and actually twist a dial just like in an old Volkswagen. Why would they do that on a premium product? I don't know. Then of course there's the navigation screen here, powered by Google. And you can see I've got Google Maps, which is great. I've got a web browser. Hey, look at that cool web page, MotorTrend.com, just like you can do on a Tesla. I've got this page here, and this is of course all my car stuff. All the driver assist stuff is right here. What you can see from the infotainment is it's fast to respond, it's legible, it looks pretty cool. They've done a nice job. Back seat's okay, storage is okay, although there's really not much frunk space. On a Model 3, there'd be a ton. So overall, a pretty good interior, but flawed in a few key places. As far as performance goes, this is an odd product for a performance brand to be selling. 231 horsepower, 243 pound-feet of torque from a single motor. That's not a lot, especially when you consider that this is an electric vehicle and batteries are very heavy. This has a pretty decent sized battery, 78 kilowatt hours. Worse, the motor's in the front. Now, yes, you can get a dual motor Polestar 2. This one isn't. This is the long range with one motor, but it's up front. If you get a single motor Tesla Model 3, for instance, it's in the rear. So, rear drive cars just in general are better to drive than front wheel drive cars, especially when they get this heavy. 270 miles of range, which is okay. 300 is sort of the new normal for this type of vehicle, but 270 is okay. Now, if you get the dual motor, that range drops to 249. It's really not a big sacrifice to have that second motor. Yeah, it costs more, but you're gonna get a vehicle that can hit 60 in around 4 seconds. As far as safety goes, don't know. And what I mean by that is nobody has crash tested a Polestar 2 yet. We do know that Polestar is weirdly stingy with the automatic safety features. Stuff like lane keeping assist, blind spot monitoring, cross traffic alert, even adaptive cruise control, they are all a la carte extras. How much? Okay, if you want to get into a Polestar 2 long range with a single motor, it's going to cost you $47,200. The way this one sits, it's over $48,000, but let's not forget most EVs are still eligible for a $7,500 federal tax credit, lowering the price to just under $41,000, assuming that you do pay your taxes. Well, what about the competition? Back to the base price, $47,200. That's almost $500 less than a Tesla Model 3 rear drive standard range plus. So, it's a little bit less than its main rival. As far as the two Koreans go, they're a couple $1,000s less each. The i4, the rear drive version, it's going to be over $56,000. So in terms of value, within its segment, we can say that the Polestar 2 is pretty solid. If there's one thing that I want you to know about the 2022 Polestar 2 long range, it's that this would make a wonderful Volvo. Harsh? Absolutely. But listen, if you're going to create a brand new performance company, you gotta sell performance cars. Now, again, if this was a Volvo, it would really complement the XC40 well. That would be the SUV. This would be the tough-looking, chunky sedan. But as a Polestar, as a reason for me not to buy a Tesla Model 3, I'm not seeing it. To see vehicle rankings and a complete buyer's guide, please visit MotorTrend.com/cars.